This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Let's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my honor. You're going to acknowledge me.
WWE Podcast, welcome to the first AEW coverage of Collision, the new 2-hour weekly Saturday night event on TNT. This is a WrestleMagic Wrestle Talk branded episode. We have a 3-man booth today from Memphis to Houston, all the way out of the country. Your NXT coverage expert, Memphis Mark, is here. And yours truly, checking in once again from downtown Houston, the Silver Fox of the city, Rocky T. Now, unfortunately, the other half of my magic stick, Michael, is not here today, but I have the next best thing, the gardener's nephew, Maintenance Maverick. Hey, fellas, how are we doing today?
Man, doing good. Maverick, how you doing over there?
Pretty great. Can't complain about being out here, besides the weather not being the best.
Where is it that you are exactly?
I'm located in the United Kingdom, Suffolk County to be specific.
There you go. Don't give the lady any more information than that, Maverick. You'll get from. Ask your uncle. Rocky, I'm sorry. Rocky, how are you doing today? How are you doing? I apologize.
Oh, it's all good, Mark. Join Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, all the fathers listening and just around the world. Can't complain, man. Day off. Finally, I had to work last year on Father's Day, but they gave me off this year. Couldn't really ask for more than the sunshine in the sky and having the boys here with me.
There you go, man. You can't ask for anything more than that. And I tell you what, man, I'm kind of excited. This Collision ended up being a really, really good show. And what about the opening monologue by Mr. CM Punk? I mean, what was the line he used? What was it? Anybody get the line on the counter bucks that he used?
Yeah, I did. So he says that David Zaslav calls him, quote, one Bill Phil, because he is the one true genuine article in a business full of counterfeit bucks.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I believe somebody dropped the gauntlet there. Mav, what did you think of that one?
I honestly thought that he's kind of blurring the lines here between kayfabe and reality to an extent, because that kind of felt like maybe there's still some beef there that he's holding on to. Maybe he still wants to get at them a little bit, but I've read a little bit online, something about that. He's been told not to speak with the Bucks or Kenny at this point. I'm a little intrigued to see a little bit more on that. What do you think is going on with that, Mark?
Man, I think they're airing their dirty business a little bit, and it's not exactly the best thing, but it does make for entertaining TV. I mean, what do you think, Rock?
So, as we know, CM Punk opens the show to a hero's welcome, comes out, he's still running his mouth about how he's better than everybody in the company, and to add to this, insult, if you would say, he says that there's nobody in the company that can fill his boots. That's what was the reference to why he was wearing the boots, trying to make us think he was going to have his swan song and leave. But it was just to prove another point, saying that nobody could fill his boots. So I like him coming out being brash and, just being CM Punk. But the CM Punk that we've come to know over the years.
Yeah, and the red bag with the belt, I mean, it was a strong opening. You expected something something like this. He delivered. He delivered pretty good. And, man, I tell you what, guys, let's just jump into the first match. Man, they started off kind of heavy with Luchasaurus and Christian with Warlow for the title right out of the gate. I mean, Maverick, this was pretty good little start of things.
Yeah, I agree. I admit they are two bigger men, so it's going to be a little bit slower as it is, but I feel like it was praised properly. You know what I mean? They're not over rushing. They're not running all over the place. And with their athletic abilities, they showed it. They showed feats of strength, and Christian doing a great job with being the heel and everything, and, you know, ending the match the way that it did. I don't want to give, well, actually I shouldn't give too much away. This is a podcast about the show. They should know already what happened, but, just having him intervene to build on his heel character a little bit, and then him taking the credit for the win was a nice moment to watch. I really enjoyed it. What do you think, Rocky?
It's funny that you mentioned that part about Christian taking the credit. I got a good crack out of that when he grabbed the title and celebrating like he won it. I was glad they came out the gates with this one. You know, first I expected them to actually. I like Wardlow. The guy's got a good look. You know, he's not as muscular. He reminds me of a Batista. Not as muscular, more agile, but just as powerful. When he hit that powerbomb on Luchasaurus, it looked very seamless. And then, you know, Christian takes the cheap shot at the end and helps them get the 1, 2, 3. And this was actually Luchasaurus' first chance at the TNT title. So even though he won it in an underhanded way, I'm a heel through and through, so I was okay with it.
The heel came out. Well, and that's good, man. The match was good. You know, Christian, he's being Christian. You know, he is definitely setting himself up for them to have matches on down the road when he takes all the credit, and eventually, you know, Luchasaurus will stand up to him. You know, so I mean, it's a good storyline build, I think. You know, so and then look, guys, after that, they do a quick little promo with Powerhouse, man. Now, I think Powerhouse is definitely going to be somebody that you can build on. I mean, Rocky, what's your opinion on Powerhouse?
Again, another guy with a good look, very muscular. The test is going to be is if he can have those 5-star classic matches. Maybe not ready for, you know, AEW title yet, but the first step for him would be winning the Owen Hart tournament, which is what this promo was about. So we'll see what he does in the tournament going forward and take it from there. Maverick, you have any thoughts about him?
So I agree. I believe that Powerhouse Hobbs is a diamond in the rough. He is going to be, I don't want to say the complete future, but I feel like he's going to have a future in the company. He's going to be something. Whether he stays with the company, whether he goes to WWE, depends on his skill level, how well that he improves himself, and where he wants to go with his career. I feel like he's going to have a good future in the wrestling business as long as he keeps his nose clean, honestly. I think his matches have been pretty good so far, and his promos have been cut pretty well. So good opinion on him.
Yeah, I agree both of you, man. I think Powerhouse has got a bright future. And I made a little note. So apparently it stuck out to me at the time when I was watching the show, but the announcers, I'm just, I'm going to give it a little while, you know, but I wasn't too high on the announcers. But I tell you one thing, right after that, you've got the House of Black. And look, Rocky, are you better at saying Andre, his name better?
El Idolo Andrade versus Buddy Matthews. Yeah.
And
I had to practice a little bit myself.
There you go.
I got it.
And Maverick, you actually spotted something. What did you say about the announcers when they were announcing Mr. Matthews?
So I noticed as soon as he was making his entrance and walking out with Julie Hart, the first thing that you hear is from the House of Black, Buddy Murphy. Now, I know that mistakes happen, but come on, man, that's another company's name for him. You don't want to make that kind of mistake.
Wow, I missed that. I didn't catch that.
That was pretty good. But man, look, Matthews is built himself up, man. I love the look he's got in this match with I don't want to say Mr. Flair. Andre, man, his comeback match. I mean, I think it was good. I mean, what are you guys thinking?
Well, I've always liked Andrade. I like both these wrestlers, actually, especially with their time in WWE. I really enjoyed Andrade's work in NXT. I don't think Buddy ever got the proper push in WWE, but one thing I don't understand about him is why he didn't change the name when he joined the House of Black or just joined AEW, period. That mishap that you talked about, them calling him Murphy, that wouldn't have happened if they changed his name. I don't know if you guys realize how it sounds, but when they announced House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Murphy, like, just imagine if this was Attitude Era with Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. Coming to the ring, The Undertaker, Viscera, The Brood, and Buddy Matthews. Like, it doesn't work.
I never thought of it like that. That's actually pretty. It sounds a little Mayberry-ish.
Yes.
It kind of sounds like, all right, we've got this really dark and brooding, guys. We have Kane, the Destroyer, and Dave, or just something stupid like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but the match, guys, hey, I gotta say, the match was a burner, man. They tore it up. Andretti catching himself on the ropes and doing the little hanging out and doing a cartwheel and then having the timing to come off of that with a cartwheel off the apron like that. I mean, and even the corkscrew when he went after corkscrew leg drops when he was going after buddies. I mean, pretty freaking good. I mean, at least from my point of view.
Both these guys have always had good timing in the ring, technical and the high-flying moves. So putting these two together, you can't go wrong. These guys could wrestle every day of the week, and and twice on Sunday, you have a great match every time.
Yeah, and I believe the announcer said between the two of them, they had like 34 years experience, and I don't think they mentioned that Andretti had most of all of that. But still, he ends the match, though, with a figure 4, and then with a tribute to his lovely wife, he jacks it up to a figure 8 and wins the match. I mean, what about that ending? What about that ending?
So it was enjoyable. I felt like the tribute was very nice to see, just between husband and wife and everything. And I really enjoyed afterwards Andrade doing the face thing, walking over, trying to be supportive of Buddy at that moment. And I'll be honest, this is where I feel like Julia Hart needs a little more to her character. She needs something a little bit, I don't know, something supernatural to her or something, so that maybe she can be the one that makes the lights drop or something. She raises her hand up or something. It's just seeing her just kind of blankly stand outside the ring. It's like as if Wednesday Addams is a part of AEW now, honestly. That's how I see her. But yeah, overall the match was very good. I think Andrade is a very good performer. His performance in that was almost seamless, in my opinion. I really enjoyed seeing everything that he was doing. The corkscrews, that cartwheel on the apron, that was very impressive to me.
And did you happen to notice, did either one of y'all happen to notice when Andrade was thrown out of the ring one of the times, he put his hand up for a small kid to help him up, and then he got ring. Now, if you're sitting ringside and you're 12 years old and a wrestler reaches out for you to help him up, that's got to be a once in a lifetime kind of. That was cool. That was really cool, but it was so subtle. I don't know if a lot of people even saw it.
Yeah, I just barely noticed it, and I thought it was very cool to see. I thought that would be such an awesome once in a lifetime moment for a fan to be able to help up one of their heroes at that moment. Rocky, what did you think?
Do we think that the babyface tactics that he's taking with with the kid, and do we think that's going to be a sign of his push in AEW, or do we think that the figure 8 salute to Charlotte is a sign of him leaving AEW and going back to WWE? That's what it made me think when he did the salute to her with the finish.
That's good. I like that. I mean, that's a very good point. And personally, I think they're going to put him as the baby face. We'll see on that, but that was a very good point to bring up. What do you think there, Maverick?
So I'm not sure that he's going to leave AEW yet. I think it's definitely possible in the farther future, but considering where he is, I feel like he's going to get a push right now. I think that's going to be the next step for him.
where do they push him? Because you have Wardlow as the babyface TNT champion. Do you think he's ready for the AEW scene? Or does Wardlow drop it to a heel and then Andrade gets pushed into a TNT title push?
Well, considering that Luchasaurus just won the Luchasaurus and Christian, I should say, both just won that title.
You're so right. We were just talking about that. So that actually seems kind of perfect.
Yeah, so it does seem like a perfect fit to slowly slide him in. Whether he wins it immediately or not, it doesn't really matter. I feel like he could go for the AEW championship and it would be fine. He could work his way up. That'd be fine with me, honestly, with the way he performs.
Yeah, the ending of the match I thought was great, man. It sets it up, and hey guys, after that, man, they actually did we had a Scorpio Sky sighting in a promo, and hadn't seen a lot of him, but man, he's really good in the ring, man. So maybe they're going to give him something, a little taste of some airtime. I mean, what's your opinion on Scorpio?
I totally agree about him. His ring ability. I like the vignette that they gave us. He sounded very confident. He sounded like he's going to be on a warpath. But we'll see. What about you, Maverick?
I think that he's going to come out swinging immediately once he makes his big, I don't want to call it a return because I'll be honest, I haven't really been watching as much lately, but after this, he's going to be on a warpath, I believe, as well. I've always been a fan of Scorpio Sky. I really enjoyed SoCal Uncensored and what they did. It's a little sad to see Frankie Kazarian go, but, it is what it is. It's part of the business. But I've always enjoyed Scorpio Sky's in-ring, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So then they do we got Tony Nese coming out with Mark Sterling, and tries to do the Richard Simmons exercise class. Of course, you get the entrance of Miro. And man, I think he looked good. He looked good in the ring. I didn't see too much ring rust. I mean, what's your opinion on Miro's return?
Maverick, go take it first.
Man, Miro is just always enjoyable for me to see, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just memories from the Rusev Day era and whatnot, but it's just always entertaining to see him. I don't know how to describe his in-ring ability besides he's larger than most people, but he can move still to the point where he's entertaining. His character's a little bit flat in the way up. He just kind of comes in, destroys, and leaves, but at the same time, I believe so is Brock Lesnar. But I don't know, it's just always fun to watch as Miro comes into the ring and does his thing. What do you think about Miro?
Yeah, I've always liked him ever since Rusev, came into WWE as a heel. Rusev Day, I kind of got on my nerves really fast, but I've always liked his in-ring ability. When he was announced to come back, we knew this was whoever was going to be out in the ring was going to be the bait. We knew it was going to be a dominant squash match, and more likely it was going to be a submission. I don't know if they should keep on reestablishing him this way because he's already established himself. He's an established star. But I guess to get his feet wet and get him back, just get the little bit of ring rust off. But I hope they do something significant with him. I wouldn't mind him going for that AEW title because he's already passed the TNT tier. So, again, with him, a new return, we'll see where they go with it.
Absolutely. Man, Hero, it's all about the writing with him. If they can just put the right storyline and the right person in there, I think he could, they could do the waltz. Yeah, I think he is capable of, putting together 3 or 4 good barn burner matches, on pay-per-view. But man, after that, they go into, some promos, and giving us a little tease on what was to come. And they really played up. They got their money's worth out of CM Punk in this particular show, the promos and everything else. So, not a lot you can say about that, but we did go into a match with the ladies, with the Outcast, they call themselves, Rudy Soho and, Tony Storm, going against, in her hometown, Sky Blue, and, with her mom there and Willow Nightingale. Somebody help me on this one. Somebody help.
Well, I'll take this one real quick. Tony Storm and Ruby. I can't decide if I like them more as a heel because, like I said, I'm a heel through and through. But I kind of like where they were as baby faces. But now they're just literally swaps over with Soraya, and then you have Britt and them and her crew. Now they're baby faces. So from one year to the next, it kind of just threw me off that the ladies literally swap. 3 ladies were heel, 3 ladies were baby face, and then they swap. But as far as the match goes, you got Willow Nightingale, which is the New Japan Strong Woman Championship. And I don't know if either of you know how she won it, but she did beat Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. This was an audible call during the match because New Japan had created this title for Moné or Banks when she re-signed a long-term deal earlier this year. But during the match, she suffered a broken ankle. So they called it an audible during the match for Nightingale to take the win. I haven't seen this girl's work much. I've seen Sky Blue a bit. She's still a little green, but she's, working her way up. The match had a poetic ending with the spray paint. So that's pretty much what I have to say about there. What do you guys think there?
Go ahead there, Maverick. Give me some.
All right. So in my notes about this, I actually told you about this a little bit earlier, Mark. I thought that Sky Blue coming out in front of her hometown, that's always going to be a nice poetic moment. I saw her tear up a little bit and wipe her face, and all I was thinking was, aw, that's kind of cute to see. But I remember for the past couple of years, all I've ever really seen of Sky Blue was she was more or less a jobber for Jade Cargill. That's all I really remember of her. She's, just kind of that girl who looks like she could have a little bit of potential, and I think she has some after today's match. She showed some athleticism, but during this match, it felt like she was the only one who really did anything. Besides, Willow had a little bit of offensive in there, but it didn't really feel like that much of a match. It felt like it was just more or less of a feel-good movie moment to see Sky Blue win over, these heels in her hometown and in front of her mom in the front row and everything. Enjoyable, but I kind of saw it less as a wrestling match and more of just a feel-good movie moment than anything. What'd you think, Mark?
I like the feel-good movie part there. Willow had a couple short arm clotheslines that were pretty good, and she did the pump handle slam. So, but yeah, other than that, it was just kind of like a feel good, I guess, moment there. I like the way you put that. And then right after that, they do a quick little Ricky Starks promo, and Ricky Stark, I'm still out on the fence about him. I mean, I know what. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think?
Ricky Starks seemed like he was about to have a nice push, and then they deflated him, and then he was about to get another push, and then he was deflated again. I like the kid. I like his mic work. I like his in skill, his moveset. I think he just needs that one solid rivalry to solidify him as a top tier star, like a AEW championship contender always. Even in a loss, you still see him as a contender, like how we used to view Seth Rollins. No matter how many losses he would take, we still saw him as a top tier contender. But Ricky's just not there yet.
I like that. Matt, what you got?
So I have to agree with you on this one here, Rocky. I think he has a pretty good amount of main event potential. And I feel like they have been kind of teasing a push almost, it feels like, because they start to and then they pull back on it. I'm not really sure why they keep doing that. I think his mic work is good. In ring, he is, I want to say good enough, but he's better than good enough. You know what I mean? He goes in there and he performs enough that I actually feel entertained and I want to watch his matches. That's the way I want to put it. I feel like he will push somewhere in the near future. It's just, I want to say like a year or two because they just keep starting and then stopping with him because I don't think they know what to do with him. They have so many of these bigger names on the board right now,
Yeah. I will say, I thought he is good with the stick, and we will just have to see how that's going to go. And look, I'm gonna jump off keel for a second. And right when we're getting ready to bring the Acclaim out for their little spot, they ran a commercial, and I hadn't seen the booking yet. They're doing something that happened when I was a childhood. They had the old Tupelo concession stand. They're going to have a match coming up that they're doing like a concession stand match with Briscoe and Jarrett. So I'm really interested to see. I don't know if you guys. I hope you've seen the Tupelo Brawl, but it is a classic. And if you haven't seen it, please. I didn't mean to jump off. That's got to be that. It's either going to be really good or they're going to suck it up really bad. But what about the Acclaim, man? The Acclaim. That close. I mean, come on, give me something good.
Oh. The Acclaimed. I'll be honest. The best part about them at this point is their promos. They come out and they do the whole quote unquote "scissor me daddy" thing. It's so juvenile and it's funny, but honestly, it works good enough. The crowd loves it. It's funny enough to keep me entertained, and I'm okay with watching it. I'm fine with them because of how goofy they are, you know? What do you think, Rocky?
So my girlfriend watches WWE with me, right? We watch it religiously. AEW, I mostly watch highlights. Last night was the first time that she saw the Acclaim come out with their Scissor Me shirts. And her first thought is, excuse me? Like, how is this allowed on TV? I didn't have a response. I'm like, people love it. People are cheering. They do their little rap. They're colorful and, they're over. That's all there is to it. And then you have a legend with Daddy Ass and she's like, who? I'm like, Daddy Ass. And she's like, it just blew her mind that somebody could be named this in today's wrestling with the way, how sensitive society is and, with everything going on in the world. So I'm like, it's wrestling. It's a fantasy world. There's things that we can get away with today that we couldn't get away with 20 years ago. And there's things 20 years ago that we got away with that we can't get away with today. It's just the nature of the business.
Right. I mean, when we hear those things, to us it's kind of normal. Explaining it to a non-wrestling fan is like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
So his name is what? Daddy what? Yeah, it is kind of interesting. And you know what? I tell you what, I saw or I got a lot of response from people that actually haven't watched AEW yet. And for some reason, I think this show had a lot of first-time viewers, which is great for their business. I mean, absolutely. But I was a little shocked at that, that many people, for some reason, thought this was the show to start off watching. So I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess, for a company to have something like that, and they involved Tony Schiavone in the scissors too. So, oh God.
Oh my God, just seeing that, it was like watching an awkward dad trying to be a part of his kid's cool thing that they came up with, quote unquote, and then they just all run in and do it, and he's just kind of awkwardly going along with it.
Yeah. I got a nice kick out of that too. That was kind of a feel-good moment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But all right, now we've got the main event upon us, and that's the Bullet Club with Switchblade Jay White and Juice Robertson with that voice. His voice is just like a carnival guy, and then Samoa Joe going against FTR and CM Punk. And they even came out with their own jackets that said FTR CM. So I mean, I thought it was a good match here. Let's see let's go around here and see what you guys thought.
So I noticed the ring gear first as well, the jackets, and then I noticed the FTR trunks had Punk's logo on it, and then they were also rainbow colored theme. Maybe they were celebrating Pride Month like the rest of the world. I don't know. Maybe they just decided to come up with this color scheme together as a trio. Solid match. Punk's entrance, I expected them to cheer for him the way they did at the opening show, but his entrance seemed kind of flat to me. and I was wondering why I didn't see as many signs in the crowd. I don't know if they're doing signing restrictions. When I saw the camera pan to the crowd, like nobody was really standing on their feet. So that kind of threw me off. Punk did shave his head, which actually makes him look not as old as before with the long hair, which you could see all his white hair. I really shouldn't be, talking down on white hair because, I'm the Silver Fox, but I make it look good. We got those Holy S chants when Samoa Joe got in the ring. And this dates back to him and Punk's rivalry from 2004 from ROH. So some nice, Holy S chants there. Jay White hit this beautiful Uranage on Punk about halfway through the match. Looked like FTR botched the finish at the end, and Punk's GTS didn't really look that impactful. Overall, I think it was about 15 to 18 minute match. Definitely wasn't a barn burner. But again, you have a returning CM Punk. We knew they were going to take the win. Get whatever 9-month rust he has off. And again, with him, we're off to the races and see what they're going to do with him. What do you guys got?
Yeah, and I didn't see that crowd with it. I was looking for Maverick.
So, watching the match, it was entertaining. It was relatively clean, I want to say, but like you said, Punk's GTS didn't really look like it hit correctly. Or maybe just, didn't quite hit as hard as we would normally see. But while watching, all I was kind of thinking is I enjoy seeing Switchblade Jay White and seeing Juice Robinson as well. We're not really seeing any real offense from him. You're kind of seeing a kick, punch, Irish whip into the corner type of thing, which I guess is typical in tag matches, but I don't know. I just kind of missed seeing Jay White and Juice Robinson. And Samoa Joe did his thing a little bit. He's the big guy in the match. He's going to do the feat of strength and go blow for blow with somebody a little bit. So he was used correctly, I felt like. But I don't know, it just didn't feel quite as I would have liked and perfect to how I would have imagined seeing all these big names in the ring at once. Because I believe FTR is probably the best tag team to date, in my opinion. CM Punk, I can understand they're going to take it slow with him because they used him pretty sparingly up until the end, I want to say. And then the last 5 minutes, I think they really had him pour it on at the end, being involved in the match, sort of say. But yeah, it was a good match overall.
Yeah.
Well, because this was a main event with a returning Punk on a debuting event with Collision being this is its debut night, I expected a better main event. Not better participant, just better in-ring overall quality of the match. And these 6 guys, I expected it, but we didn't get it. They got enough time to do it, but I guess for whatever reason they were taking it slow, and the heels didn't get enough offense to make it look competitive.
Yeah. I thought the match was pretty good. I thought that the love fest that they were showing CM Punk with the logo on their trunks and was a little funny. The signs, they did have some weird ones that I didn't understand, but yeah, I think there may have been we'll probably hear about hopefully coming up, but overall, I think the match was, I'd say a B match, something like that, and I would expect to try to pull off an A, but sometimes you're only as good as what you're in there with. And with CM Punk having a little ring rust maybe, and, maybe, I wonder if people are worried about his opinion of him too. So that's going to, everybody wants to oversell for him. Because that's pretty much his show. That's pretty much his show. But overall, man, I'm going to give, if you could give a grade to the show, Mav, what kind of grade would you give the show?
Overall, for the show itself, I would give it I want to say a solid B. Honestly, overall, it's not bad, but it definitely could have been better. Overall, it's entertaining. It's acceptable for what it was, but I kind of expected a little bit more out of a first time. This is the first show, and, I kind of wanted just a little bit more.
I was actually going to go B+ because of the returns that we had. And again, the main event was a little disappointing, but I would go with the B+ because of the returns. So we had a title change. But I want to talk about a point real quick. How we were talking about Ricky Starks not being pushed enough. You guys think with this new 2-hour weekly show, there's another platform for them to push other stars because they could be on TV more. They don't have to be on dark anymore. So he'll get TV time, and they can have significant rivalries and title matches there because we know they're always having title matches. Do you think that this 2-hour weekly event will be overexposure, or do you think it's going to be better to help the people who are not being pushed? Because this is going to make 5 hours of AEW a week now. Do you guys think they have enough talent, enough big stars, and enough creative to make it last?
Mav, I'm going to let you take this one first.
So I think it's going to be hard, and it depends on their creative teams at this point. If they can keep writing stories that are good enough, and I feel like it being on a Saturday, that is one of those nights where, I don't want to bring in my childhood really, but that was one of those nights where you could stay up as a kid and you could watch wrestling or, anything really. So that's kind of that age demographic I feel like may come into play, because if they want to see wrestling Saturday night, that's a good time to do it. Friday night, same thing to an extent, but Friday night their show is a little bit late. I think that it might be the best idea to go a little bit more PG, not completely PG, but somewhat PG on the Saturday show, and then they may have a little bit more success there ratings-wise. What do you think, Mark?
I think that there is an absolute freaking opportunity for them to do something with this. 5 hours is not too much. They have the roster. They have everything they need. Now we'll get to see what AEW really is, because they're stepping in the big water now. They're getting in the deep water. They're going for it. So I think over the next year, this is either going to make them, take off, or it could be the demise. But I'm leaning towards the takeoff. I think it's going to be just fine. Now, Rocky, you asked the question, what's your opinion?
So this is going to be 2 hours of AEW wrestling on a day of the week that there's no WWE wrestling. So we're going to come to know Saturday being AEW wrestling night, unless it's a WWE Elite night. I don't know how that's competition there is going to go. AEW is trying to do something to separate themselves from WWE and every other promotion. So having this 2-hour weekly event is like having basically a nice little 2-hour pay-per-view every week now, if they can come up with the creative and keep the talent, in order to do it. Another way that AEW is trying to differentiate themselves is they like to license songs. It was revealed that the show's theme song for Collision was Elton John's classic from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Now, this is a great underlining song title for the event. And like I said, they're licensing songs as well. So Wednesday's song for Dynamite is called Light the Fuse, Bring the Boom, and then for Rampage, This is Rampage, baby, for Friday night's Rampage show. With AEW just being about 5 years into existence, they're continuing to try to differentiate themselves from the competition. We hear songs like Jefferson Starship Chain for Orange Cassidy, The Elite have Carry On Wayward Song but Kansas, and John Moxley's X version of The Wild Thing. So again, it's up to creative, it's up to the talent, and see if this is going to make or break the company.
Yep. Absolutely, man. And great point to bring up, man. Look, we're done with the show. Anybody else? You got another point or anything? Because I like the way we were going here. Because I agree. The Saturday night, All Right for Fighting. I like the song. There again, I think it had something to do with that English guy that was announcing. I don't know.
Potentially. I haven't really seen too much of who that announcer was performing, but it sounds like he's got a lot of history, unless he was Magnus, but I don't really remember. But
No, but yeah, apparently so. I guess I caught on to afterwards. It's kind of like when you have a little funny aftertaste in your mouth, and that was what he kind of left a little weird kind of when I was listening to him. It just didn't seem right. But as I said, I'll give it time. I will give it time. And then look, I'm still excited to see if screw up this concession stand brawl they got coming up. So I think this week we're going to have a pretty good week, coming up with everybody, the WWE and AEW. Maybe we'll be the recipient of some good shows this week. Man, guys, we can kind of shut her down now because we've done an actual Collision review. I'm pretty excited. What about you?
Looking forward to what's coming forward. Like you said, this was dropped in our laps literally yesterday morning on the morning of the pay-per-view debut. The Gardner reached out to you, to me, to Matt. We got the green light. Circumstance happened, just life happened, with us, our time zones get away from us. Luckily, with Maverick being out of the country, he was available at this time for us, so we could fill him in. I know he got to watch the show and got a lot of good notes on it. Me and you pretty much watched the highlights of it and took our notes based on that. But with being as passionate as we are about wrestling, we don't have to watch every single minute of it because we can speak to it from our heart. So we'll just like with the returns that we got today, with the new debut of Collision, we're going to see where that goes for the company, and we'll see where this goes for us. We'll see if we're going to have the same 3-man booth next week, or if it'll be a 4-man booth or 2-man booth, or we don't know yet.
Never can tell. And Rocky, I think we both owe a appreciation to Maverick for stepping in here, stepping up late, and we very much appreciate. We actually appreciate your service each and every day that you do. And we wanted to say thank you for filling in for your freaking uncle, man.
I appreciate that, guys. Really appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's been a lot of fun. But I just have one question for you guys, because I was wondering it as soon as CM Punk walked out. Do you think he actually has the title in that bag?
Well, it wasn't.
Yeah. Yes, I think he has his replica, the one with his nameplate on it. I think he does. I'm surprised he didn't pull it out, but I'm glad he didn't pull it out, because just the visual, or his words, you knew what he meant.
Yeah, that was a little old school kind of move. He's got it there. He doesn't have it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because we're going to have to tune in next week to see. So, no, go ahead, Maverick.
I was just saying, right, you don't know. It's building suspense. It's kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a little old school. It's nice to see a little old school being brought back into modern day. So, well, look, man, I think we're good here. We can go ahead and shut her down and say our goodbyes, because we're doing good, and I'm scared we're going to screw it up. So Maverick, would you like to say goodbye or say hello to anyone, or whatever you'd like to do, my friend?
All right. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to my dad. Not sure if he'll really be too big into the context of it. He's not really a wrestling fan, but happy Father's Day to you, Dad. Always been there, always been my number one supporter. Also want to say, it's kind of a harsh goodbye to a friend of mine named Brian Griffin. He's the one who gave me the nickname Maintenance Maverick. He's one of the only wrestling fans out here that I've really talked to about wrestling and everything, and he's going to be PCSing soon. So it's unfortunate, but look, road's going to be good for him ahead. So see you on the other side, buddy.
There you go.
You want to let anybody how to know to reach you on social media? Do you have any plugs about anything?
So I'm going to be looking into how to change my Twitter handle into Memphis Maverick. So we'll be soon to see what happens on the next show, and hopefully I'll come again soon.
All right, we'll have Michael fill us in whenever that comes up. As far as myself, as you guys don't already know, Rocky's Club 007 at Twitter. That's my dedicated wrestling page for all things wrestling. As most of you know, you can go ad-free through Patreon or through Apple Podcasts. And you can also go ad-free on me if you follow me on Twitter, send me a message, give me that shout-out on the mailbag. I will pay for your first months of the NXT membership on Patreon app. Again, if you didn't hear the mailbag, New York Kyle did cash in 2 weeks ago, and since he was the first one to cash in and give me the shout out, I paid for his first 2 months. So, a lot of ways to go free, ad free, a lot of different ways. That's pretty much it for me, guys. I just want to shout out to Michael, Mr. Gardner. I know you're busy at work, and we got some shows coming up, buddy. So don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of it. Mark.
Man, I really like what you're doing on the mailbag. I like that. I didn't know that, Rocky. So, man, guys, give him a shout out for sure. And look, man, everybody kind of knows it's a Memphis Mark for you on Twitter, and definitely check out the NXT review. Generally out every Wednesday. And other than that, guys, let's get out of here and go enjoy the rest of the day. And if you don't mind, I'll just send it out like normal. Rescue if you can, spay and neuter. And this is Memphis Mark. And guys, we're out. I think we're good.
All right. Super solid.
Man, I love doing one take.
Not bad for half a day's time worth of note.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.